Hi, my name is Kim Hewitt, and today I'm going to help you get access to your course review feedback. You may be wondering who it is at UWG that's running this project. Well, the project is run out of a graduate course called MEDT 7475, the Distance Education Professional. It's a course taught by Professor Jason B. Hewitt. He's also my husband. And it's part of a three-part series of courses that will eventually, we hope, here at the University of West Georgia, we hope will lead to students getting an online teaching endorsement in the state of Georgia. So he teaches that class. I'm kind of a project manager for these projects that he's got in several of his courses that have to do with course reviewing. We have another course reviewing project in a previous course as well. And I am also an instructor at the University of West Georgia. My name's Kim Hewitt. And I kind of manage the wiki and I facilitate communication between UWG and GAVS. Another person that is involved in the project, and you may hear from her or see her around involved in the project, is Deborah Robinson. She's an instructional designer here at UWG, and she gives a lot of input on how we can do things better. So you're probably aware that your courses have been reviewed by some kind of graduate students. I thought I would take a moment just to talk a little bit about them. Most of them are either teachers or school library media specialists in K-12 schools in Georgia currently, and they're working on their master's or their EDS in instructional technology or school library media. Many of them are hoping to get the three-part online endorsement, online teaching endorsement as well by taking this course. And I'm sure that a lot of them are trying to position themselves to work in some aspect of online learning, possibly in the state of Georgia, possibly somewhere else. You know, they all have different goals, but they're mostly educators practicing in Georgia schools right now. I would add to that these students have probably taken two prerequisite courses, the first one being a graduate level instructional design course, and the second one being Introduction to Distance Education, where they also were reviewing courses. They reviewed teacher-made courses at either a blended middle school in Henry County or at an online supplemental high school. So they've had some experience reviewing courses before, and then they get more training on how to review for this particular project in this course. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Just to give you a quick sneak peek at the type of information that you're going to get in your review, there's two main aspects. The first one is the Quality Matters grades 6 through 12 rubric. Well, we took that and we made a Google Doc out of it for each class, and so the groups work together to fill out that Google document. So you'll have a Google Doc. It's the Quality Matters 6 through 12 rubric. It'll have some quantitative numbers that kind of try to measure quality, and then it has qualitative information, which we feel is the most important, and I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. So that's one thing. You have a completed rubric with its 8 standards. The other thing that you'll have is from each member of the group, and each group had about 4 or 5 students each member of the group that reviewed your course will provide at least one video walkthrough on a specific element of the course that they want to talk to you about. Sometimes they provide more than one, so, you know, I guess that's good if you get more feedback. Next, I'd like to talk about how reviewers arrived at their final reviews. What was the process involved? And here I've got a lengthy document to talk about it. I was going to use Camtasia to show you, but I think I'm going to talk you through it. If you look at the right-hand navigation bar of the wiki in which you're watching this video, you can access the trainings that the students used. They started with orientation. So if you look under the heading Project Phases, first look at the orientation page. That's what they did in the first week before they started the project. Then we had something called Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what they did in each of these phases. In the orientation part of the project, we gave them a big picture of the project and a timeline. We had them read about Georgia Virtual School, and we had them listen to a short podcast that included some input from Jay Heap on what you guys wanted. The students read about the Quality Matters rubric, and they signed up for a course that they thought they would like to review. In the Phase 1 training, where it's really getting underway, The reviewers they received their course assignments, we confirmed those. They accessed the course through the GAVS portal, and they scored your course on the QM rubric individually. And then finally what they did was they posted those rubrics onto their course review page. What's a course review page? Well, if you look on that navigation bar where it says Spring 2012, you see the 5 courses that we reviewed this semester, and each of those is a separate page dedicated to that course. So today I'll urge you, if you don't want to just access the feedback below, which is all you really need, if you want to get a little more detail, you can actually go to the course review page and access the individual rubrics, because that's not provided below. We provide sort of the summary stuff because we think that that's enough information for you. But again, if you want the individual rubrics, you can head over to that course review page. So that was phase 1. They had 2 weeks to do that. In phase 2, they had about a week, and they got together in a Wimble Live classroom, and they got out the rubric, the Quality Matters rubric, the one that they were going to complete together. They took their feedback from their individual rubrics and they combined it into one. We wanted them to come to a consensus so that you only had to read one document. We also thought it was a good way to have them discussing what they were seeing. Sometimes when you review a course, you don't see everything, and you might give a course a bad rating when somebody else, says, oh, it did have a, a syllabus or whatever the element is. Sometimes, one reviewer is not going to see it, which is the strength of having multiple reviewers go through it. So they filled out the Quality Matters rubric together on a Google Doc. I've provided you the Google Doc as well as a PDF snapshot of it because, Google Docs can change. So those are actually linked below. The Quality Matters rubric that represents the consensus of the group, as well as a PDF snapshot of it. Those are linked below. All right. And then something else they probably did in those Wimble Live classroom discussions was they probably talked about things that they could do their video walkthroughs on. So what does that mean? Well, in phase 3, the last thing that they had to do in terms of giving you feedback about the course was they had to pick an area that they thought would be a good topic for a video walkthrough. So we had them use a tool like Jing. Most of them, in fact, I think all of them used Jing. And they turned on their cameras, they went into your course, they're videoing as they go through the course, talking about various aspects. And we gave them freedom on how they would address that. It's very likely that I can tell you, it varies by course, but in some cases they went directly off the rubric. If the rubric pointed out to something that was worthy of discussion, that was what one of them might do their video walkthrough on. In one group, I know they went systematically down all 8 standards and made sure that they did a video walkthrough for every single standard, but not every group did it that way. So each of you will have at least 4 video walkthroughs, and in some cases there will be more than that, where they talk more qualitatively about some aspect of the course. So that was phase 3. And that is it. That's really how the reviewers arrived at the final reviews. So the next thing you might want to know is, how can I access my feedback? Well, it's probably pretty apparent how you'll do that. You'll scroll down below and find your course, and you can click on the Google Doc to open up the feedback on the actual instrument that they completed together. And also the links to the videos are provided in a table underneath the master rubric Google Doc. So those would be 4 or more videos. If you have any trouble viewing any of them, let me know. I could have linked them wrong, but I tested most of the links. And also, again, if you want to go directly to the course review page dedicated to your course, again, that's on the in this case, right-hand navigation. Just click on the name of your course, and that's where the students put a little bit of additional information, like when they were doing their individual reviews. If you have trouble hearing a video walkthrough, or if you need me to have it transcribed for accessibility purposes, or I'm delivering this information through video. If anybody on the team needs that, we can provide that service. So just let me know. What do you do next? Well, we're at that point where you can go check out your feedback. Please check out your master rubric. And so you can scroll down below or go to the right and look at your master rubric and your video walkthroughs. And if you could also, if it occurs to you as you're going through your feedback or at the end of it that there's some feedback you could give back to us as the designers of this project. We would appreciate it. We've created a Google survey with 3 questions. They're all open-ended. You can tell us whatever you think we need to know. We want to know if you think this is useful, if there's ways that you can see that this could be improved. We're open to all of your ideas. We're exploring this. We don't have all the answers, so please give us feedback as much as you want. You can take the survey more than once if you want.